So, hello, this is Marshally and welcome to my garden diary. So it has been a bit windy the last couple of days, and what has happened is that the stem have separated from my alliums. So that's where the bulbs are. If we look right in, let me see. If we look in there somewhere. Uh, no, okay, well, yeah, there are the bulbs, or there's a bulb. Ah, there it is. So there are some bulbs in there, and the stems have separated from the bulbs. It looks quite dry right here, so I'm not sure if how easy it will be to dig up the bulbs, but I am going to, well, I need to dig and separate the bulbs because when these are gone, the stalks is another one that is coming out. Well, that one isn't out yet, but I'll take it out. And that one, there's another one that's not completely separated yet. So I usually leave the allium stalks or stems on in place wherever they are until they separate themselves like this. And especially this year, because I want to divide the bulbs or to plant the bulbs a little bit. I think there were about 2, 4, 5, or 6 stems that came up from the bulbs this year. So I'm thinking that there must be at least 6, 7, 8 or so bulbs there, and I want to extend the length. So they were just here at this part here, so I'm going to plant some of the bulbs along this line here so that I'll have a row of allium in the spring. So I need to dig up the bulbs, see how many there are, and then replant them. And I'll just dig up and replant immediately, so that, yeah, then that's that. And right, so I have to do it like this because if the stalks or stems are not there anymore, then I won't know where the bulbs are. So before these last 2 stems blow away, I need to dig up the bulbs and get them replanted. So I'm going to do 2 parts. I have alliums in different places in the garden, but I'm only going to dig up 2, I'll just say, patches of bulbs. So I'm going to dig up the bulbs that are here, and I'm going to also dig up the bulbs that are over there because there were also too many in one place over there, and I want to have them more in a line, so I'll plant them separately from there to there. I'll go over there in a while and show you that more closely. But all the others that I have, for example, there are a couple there. Those I won't dig up this year. And then there are also some right there, and those I won't dig up this year. I will just leave them so the flower stalks or the stems can stay where they are, and when they get blown away or separated from the bulbs, then that is okay. Okay, so the idea today is that I am going to dig these up here. I already have my tools that I'll need here. I have my gloves, I have a fork, and I have that I will use to dig the holes, and then I have a container here to put the bulbs on. And then let's just quickly go over to the other part where the other bulbs are, because these are also have blown down as well, so I need to get these up as quickly as possible so I know where what is. So that's where the other bulbs are, and we can see there are 2 here that are still there. If I pull hard enough, they will come separate from the bulbs. And then there are 2 that have fallen down, and then there's another one that's standing, and then there's some over there that are, yeah, in between falling down and standing. So what I'll do, I'll dig these up and then I'll plant them in a straight line from right there up to this part here. I'll plant them maybe a half a foot or a little bit apart. I'll show you how far apart I'll put them so that we'll have an idea. So that's the first thing, is to dig up the bulbs, and then we'll see how many bulbs we end up with. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so I have digged up my allium bulbs, and that looks like a rock, but it's actually a bulb. And I'm quite pleased with how the bulbs are. They're quite large. The soil here was quite hard. It wasn't as easy to get out as I thought, but that's good. I think the alliums like it, especially after they have bloomed, for it to be dry, because the bulbs then are not active anymore. So it's okay when they're in quite dry soil. So it's okay not to have these planted in an area where, especially in summer and autumn, they don't need to. The bulbs don't need to be watered. I'll actually show you what will happen if they get watered very often, because I digged up the others at the other side, and those get a bit more water, and the bulbs were very well were smaller than these here, and I don't think the bulbs themselves like to be in soggy soil. So it's good to have, if you're wherever you're planting these in summer, make sure it's not directly where they get watered when you have your watering system on. So here, as you might recall, there were 5 blooms here, and from that, so I'm assuming 5 blooms, 5 bulbs, and from that I harvested about 12, not about, I harvested 12 bulbs. So these are the bulbs that are here, and from what I've noticed, one bulb will produce 2 or 3 more bulbs next year. So just be mindful of that. So if you have 1 bulb this year, if it grows well, then next year you might have 2 or 3, and so on. And I have these alliums. I bought 3 bulbs about, how many years ago? I think about maybe 5 or so years ago, I bought 3 bulbs. And yeah, 3 bulbs, the garden is full with alliums. So there are 12 bulbs here. Of course, 12 bulbs won't fit here, so I'll plant maybe another 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4 bulbs here, or I'll get maybe 5 in here. I've digged the hole about 8 centimeters deep, and then I'll get those that covered up, and then from the other that were here, I think I got 18 bulbs. But these bulbs are smaller, as you can see. The soil here is a bit more moist, and those are the 8 bulbs. But to be fair to these, I planted these here last year, so they have just been in that location for 1 year. Yeah. So when you're planting these, just make sure that you figure out where the top is and where the bottom is, so that you don't plant them upside down. So wherever you have, so for example, this one, there, if you see that little peak there, that means that that's the top of the, it's kind of difficult to, that little white thing that is pushing up, that means that that's the top of the bulb. And let me see for the bottom. For the bottom, you would look for wherever the root system was coming out of. So that will be the bottom. Yeah, it's kind of common sense. If you look carefully, you will see where the roots were, and where the top would be. Right. So that was what, about 18? Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's about 18 small bulbs. As I said, I'll plant them a little back where it's drier because I don't want them to get wet. You don't want to water the bulbs. So when I've planted these, I won't water them in or anything like that. I'll just plant them in very, very dry soil and leave them like that. They will appreciate that, and then they will um, bloom next year. And there's too much to plant I'm going to have way too much, so I'll see what I'll do with them. I might plant some over here in the middle where I still have some space. So I get rid of the grass that has been covering here. So that is still just mulch grass so that the grass doesn't grow. So I might plant some in this area here, and I think that will also look good come spring when the alliums bloom again. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing my planting. Yeah, you plant one bulb and then you get so many. That's one of the great things about gardening. If you're willing to put in the work, because sometimes it is work, then it can be so rewarding. And I really like it when I see that one bulb can turn into so many. It makes me have a positive outlook on life, and that you can get something, not for nothing, but the whole idea of things multiplying. So good things will multiply. Okay, bad things will also multiply, but here, let's focus on the good. Good things will multiply if you just put it in the ground, take care of it. And taking care of something doesn't mean that you give it water all the time, as you can see, right? Too much love can kill as well. So just be mindful of that in life. Too much love is not necessarily, love in quotation, is not necessarily a good thing. So for the allium bulbs, you can plant them in summer. Just do not be planting them in soggy soil because they will rot. And then in spring you will get nice blooms. Okay, that will be it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.